Up next, we have Ming Xiao and Liew of Penn State, going to talk about the effects of permafrost degradation and coastal erosion on 4 North Slope Borough coastal communities, surveyed through knowledge co-production.
Thank you, James. Next slide, please. Hi, my name is Ming Xiao. I'm a professor of civil engineering at Penn State. We, a group of researchers from Penn State, University of Alaska Fairbanks, and the Co-Climate Housing Research Center did a survey by collaborating with the 4 Arctic coastal communities. And the communities are Kaktovik, Point Lay, Utqiagvik, and Wainwright. We did the online survey from last November to the end of January last month. So in the survey, we asked about 10 questions on the permafrost thaw and the coastal erosion and their impacts on the infrastructures in terms of damages and repair. So altogether, we have 153 local residents responded to the survey. So next slide, please. In the interest of time, and I'll only share just some of the results. So if you look at the type of infrastructure that are affected by permafrost degradation or thaw, and you can see in the 4 communities, and the infrastructure mainly affected are the houses, runway, school, ice and cellar, and water and sewer lines. And of course, the proportion of those kind of varied slightly from community to community. Next, please. And if we look at next, if you look at the type of infrastructures that are affected by coastal erosion, in the 4 communities, we also see again, the houses, runway, schools, ice cellars, water and sewer lines, and all the main ones. And of course, the proportion and also varied slightly. And others include maybe roads or utility doors. Next slide, please. Well, if we look at the observations of the damages to the residential houses caused by permafrost thawing, the residents, reported the majority of those. You can see on the left one, the majority says, well, there are damages to the houses. When you ask about any repairs done to damages, and you can see the majority said no, and mainly that means most of the houses actually are not repaired. Next, please. If we look at the observations of the coastal erosion, the local residents advised that you can see in the 4 communities, again, a majority said, there are coastal erosions occurring. And if you look at B, and any erosion controls have been implemented. Well, you can see, about half said yes and half said no. And how effective they are, and it seems like majority and over 50% said those are the erosion controls are relatively effective. Next slide, please. And we also did the permafrost. We look at the so-called the hotspots. So maybe next we can see all the 4 of them. So we have an Utqiagvik and Kaktovik, a Point Lay, and a Wainwright. And on the online survey, we provided a map of different scales, from maybe 300 feet to maybe 80 miles of scale, and have local residents to click on the locations that they either observed coastal erosion or degradation and caused damages to infrastructures. As you can see in Utqiagvik, and most of the damages are really mainly occurred on the coast, that caused by coastal erosion. And in Kaktovik, and you can see, in addition to some, coastal erosion, there's also inland, caused probably by permafrost degradation to infrastructures. You look at the Wainwright, and again we can see majority, the issues occurred along the coast. There are also some, in the community and also along the roads. In Point Lay, And actually, our point layer, the coastal erosion is not a big concern. Actually, some locations even see land increase or accretion. But we can see, lots of issues, recommended by the local residents that their issues occurred in the infrastructure and kind of off the coast. Next slide. So thank you all. And if you have any questions, we can discuss further.